No one had come up with this idea for diaper motifs yet, of course it's about mice. I was surprised that it took so long because the word has been used more frequently for a while, especially among younger people. It's not a classic motif for diapers. Now Daydreamer is the first to give it a try. I first introduced them in Diaper News episode 14. I have since been able to buy a pack and have tried them out thoroughly in everyday life. We'll look at the results of the practical test together later. Although it is quite new, the manufacturer has opted for a classic pack design. This means that the pack is transparent and has very little printing. Unfortunately, there is also no tear open aid, so you need scissors to open it. This is not dramatic, but since more and more diapers have been doing this better for some time now, it is at least a small minus point. On the positive side, they are easy to remove as they are not pressed into the pack. A flowery scent reaches the nose. And not too little, it smells strongly straight out of the pack. After touching it, even your hand smells so strong. Only when the diaper is left outside for a while or the package is stored open for a longer period of time does the smell fade. Of course, everyone has a different opinion of how strong a smell is. I therefore compare it with other diapers that contain perfume. This is not commonplace, but there are a few. There it is unique in this strength. Even the same manufacturer has other diapers with fragrances, such as the smell of cotton candy, they smell much weaker. On the outside, a soft outer film is noticeable. It looks different to what we are used to. The film is supposed to be transparent and therefore the first to offer a natural wetness indicator. My impression is that it is rather milky, and you can see as much of the absorbent material on the inside as you can with white ones. It is true that you can see from the outside when it gets wet. However, this is not a special revolution, as the company claims. Every white diaper can do that. Only heavily colored ones like the Tykables camis hide how wet they are. In terms of feel, it doesn't come close to the particularly soft ones. I even find the Safari from the same manufacturer slightly better. Nevertheless, it feels good and that's how I would rate it in school grades with a 2. The diaper is closed with plastic stickers, which can always be opened and re-glued. I didn't notice any outstanding positive or negative aspects during the test. None of them tore and the adhesives are strong enough to hold the full diaper securely. The motifs appear strong thanks to the foil. The large print on the bottom is particularly striking. The sides stand out due to their coloring. With the mixture of blue and pink, you might think it's an attempt to bring the two camps together. The fit is impeccable. The manufacturer has so far managed to achieve a good fit in my size medium with all the diapers tested. The Daydreamer is in a similar weight class to the Safari and other diapers from this company. Empty, a new diaper weighs 218 grams. It feels a little thinner when freshly put on, which is probably also due to the fact that the outer film is not as thick as with other diapers. But that's complaining on a high level. In everyday use, it doesn't get bored of a little urine and absorbs everything without any problems and without leaking. The manufacturer claims an absorption capacity of 11 liters. However, you shouldn't be fooled here. Some time ago, it replaced the standardized ISO measurements with its own. Allegedly, this is what customers want. I don't see it that way, as I explained in more detail in a separate video. The new measuring method has pushed diapers with about 7 to 8 liters ISO to about 11 liters own measuring method. Both values are of course unrealistic, as even the ISO were only theoretical and could never even be approached in everyday life. With the new method, the difference between theory and practice has become even greater. At over 2.3 kilograms, the heaviest Daydreamer diaper still achieves a good result. It clearly exceeds the average of all tested diapers of currently 1.9 kilograms and even competes with some siblings from the same company's portfolio. A pack of 12 currently costs €26.90, so a single diaper costs €2.24. This is also a good price. The average diaper from the practical tests costs a good deal more at €2.84. Overall, the Daydreamer did not set any new records. Instead, it achieved a good result at a relatively low unit price, which means it doesn't need to hide behind comparable diapers. It is therefore all the more incomprehensible why the manufacturer is playing tricks with new measurement methods for the theoretical suction power. The advertising department can advertise it with 11 liters. That is almost 5 times less than it can handle in practice. I find such a large discrepancy disappointing, and I'm sure some of you do too, don't you? With 8 liters ISO, for example, the actual suction power is only about 3 to 4 times worse. Still a significant difference. But the change hasn't made it better, it's made it worse. While the diaper itself convinced me, I find the smell too strong and disturbing. The floral scent is not my taste. If anything, the smell of powder, for example, would convince me more. If you don't have a problem with that, perfume in the diaper offers advantages. It masks the odor. This is normally not a problem, at least with urine. However, if you wear the diaper for a long time, for example overnight, and don't drink enough, the acrid smell will appear at some point. I would always avoid this. If you can't do that sometimes, for example because you don't have the opportunity to change, you might be happy about a flowery smell that drowns it out. It remains a matter of taste. It is also worth mentioning that the mice diaper is also available in size small. This is not a matter of course. Many people only get into the medium size because the smallest and largest sizes are only worn by relatively few people. Compared to M and L, this is hardly worthwhile. The Barnyard is an alternative from the same manufacturer. When I tested it, it was quite similar to the Daydreamer in terms of suction power and price. Unfortunately, the Barnyard has since become a little more expensive. If you are prepared to pay the small surcharge, you will also get a good diaper that even has a Velcro fastener. You don't find this very often in this price range. Large quantities of perfume have been dispensed with. This is probably the best solution to focus on the diaper. If you want a scent, you can use a perfume of your choice. If the diapers smell and you don't like the scent, it becomes difficult. Personally, I will therefore buy the Barnyard instead of the Daydreamer in future. It's a bit of a shame because the Daydreamers are otherwise also convincing and I think the idea of mice as a motif is very cool. Although we now have a huge range of ABDL diapers, there are still gaps in the prints. Perhaps the manufacturer will react to this and offer an edition without fragrances. Or at least reduce their strength. Until then, I will stick with other diapers. This manufacturer has some good ones without perfume on offer, such as the Safari mentioned above. But the competition doesn't sleep either. One of my favorites at the moment is the very comfortable Tykables Waddler with Velcro fastening. Little Rascals V2 is also very good value for money. Unfortunately, they are often sold out at the moment, so I rarely get to wear them. If you are looking for other alternatives, have a look at my other videos on this page. I've already tried a few diapers, so stay dry until the next diaper video.